In February 2013, the Los Angeles Police Department released a 4-minute security video to the public. It showed a 21-year-old Canadian college student named Elisa Lam stepping into a hotel elevator. She presses multiple buttons, peers out into the hallway, hides in the corner, and moves her hands in strange, fluid gestures. Within days, the footage had generated tens of millions of views and tens of thousands of comments. That elevator footage was the last time anyone saw her alive. 19 days after she disappeared, maintenance workers investigating complaints about low water pressure made a grim discovery. Elisa's body was floating inside one of the hotel's rooftop water tanks. The location itself poured fuel on the fire. The Cecil Hotel, situated near Los Angeles' Skid Row, had spent decades accumulating a grim reputation as a magnet for violence, suicides, and unexplained deaths. During his 1985 killing spree, the serial killer Richard Ramirez reportedly lived on the top floor. 6 years later, the Austrian serial killer Jack Unterweger moved in. Knowing this history, internet sleuths immediately concluded Elisa had been hunted by a predator. Then, a specific detail released by authorities fueled a global obsession. Police initially reported that the heavy hatch on top of the water tank was found closed, a detail that made the circumstances appear physically impossible for a person to navigate alone from the inside. A grainy tape, a macabre location, and a seemingly impossible physical puzzle. Without immediate forensic answers from the coroner, an information vacuum formed. Online communities rushed to fill that void, spinning up theories that ranged from elaborate murder cover-ups to demonic possession. To understand what actually happened to Elisa, we have to look past the ghost stories and focus on her medical reality. Elisa was diagnosed with bipolar I disorder, a condition characterized by intense emotional states, including severe manic episodes that can cause a detachment from reality. This visual breakdown compares her toxicology report to her prescribed medications. The autopsy confirmed Elisa had consumed prescribed antidepressants, but tests detected zero trace of her antipsychotic medication, Seroquel. Taking antidepressants without balancing mood stabilizers chemically triggers severe manic episodes. In the context of a chemical imbalance, those movements in the elevator are consistent with psychomotor agitation, unintentional, purposeless motions common during high-stress manic episodes. Her erratic behavior aligns with the paranoid delusions and hallucinations characteristic of a severe psychotic break. The security footage documents a severe psychiatric crisis, occurring in a space that would soon become her final destination. Even if her behavior was driven by mania, the internet demanded to know how a petite woman could lift an industrial lid, climb deep inside, and pull it shut. The answer lies in a reporting error. Detectives later clarified that the maintenance worker actually discovered the hatch wide open. The locked room mystery never existed. It was a mistake communicated during an early press briefing. Getting into the tank didn't require superhuman strength. This schematic shows the dimensions of the galvanized steel lid. Because it was hinged at one end, the force required to lift the opposite side was cut in half, taking only 30 to 50 pounds of force. During a severe manic episode, patients frequently exhibit intense physical restlessness and hold wildly unrealistic beliefs about their own abilities. Driven by paranoia, navigating a fire escape to the roof and dropping into a water tank is entirely consistent with extreme manic impulsivity. Online communities pointed to an active tuberculosis outbreak on Skid Row, where the diagnostic test was coincidentally called Lam-Elisa, or noted the eerie similarities to the 2005 horror film Dark Water. But these are simply coincidences amplified by human pattern recognition, our brain's attempt to find meaning in random noise. Once you apply forensic physics to the roof and medical biology to her brain, grand conspiracies evaporate. What remains is a straightforward, fatal accident. The obsessive search for a boogeyman caused real collateral damage. Innocent hotel guests faced severe international cyberbullying and death threats from amateur detectives, convinced they had found the killer. Meanwhile, Eliza herself was reduced to a two-dimensional character in a digital ghost story. She was a real person, a student here at the University of British Columbia, a beloved daughter, and a prolific writer. In her personal blogs, she wrote candidly about her profound loneliness and her daily fight to manage her mental health. She actively wanted to get better, and she undertook this solo trip to California to experience life on her own terms. When we choose to invent supernatural villains or elaborate murder plots, we ignore the quiet, devastating reality of mental illness. Stripping a tragedy of its facts to build a better campfire story doesn't honor the victim. It strips them of their dignity, leaving us entertained but entirely blind to the truth.